Hello everybody, welcome back. We're gonna get back to the mini bike project. I got some parts coming today. I picked up some more already. Uh, I gave up on the old chain. The new one's supposed to be here today. I think the brake lever is supposed to be here today. A lot of that should be coming together in this video. Yay. If you're here from the RV, if you're coming to this channel from over at my other channel, Dave's RV Life channel, hey, thanks for coming over. We're going to be getting back to the RV thing here very soon. I am starting to experience a little bit of garage burnout. So we're going to get back over there to that channel and go do something very soon. But right now, what's going on here with the mini bike? What came in? Oh, actually I stopped at the hardware store and picked up a couple of things. I got I'm glad that brake cable's coming today. I found these for securing. Oh, glad I got two of them. I'll get that. These are little clamp-on things to secure that brake cable that's just flopping around in there. I got two of those. And where are they here? A couple little snap rings I needed for on the end of that shaft when I get that shaft in. It should be the last thing I need for that. And with the new chain coming, although it comes with a new master link, I picked up a couple of extras because I'm going to have extra chain left over too. And there's other projects here. I have other engines. About the engines, we'll get to that today too. One came with it. It's over here on the bench. We'll get to that. There's another 5 horsepower. The one that came with it's 3 horsepower. There's a 5 horsepower over here that I think will go on it too. And I have something else. I have a centrifugal clutch that chain would also, it's okay that I have extra chain and extra. I'll have more than twice as much chain. It comes in a 10-foot length and I only need about 3.5 feet. So it was only 16 bucks. But I'll have extra chain. We got extra stuff for our other projects. It'll get used someday at some point on some project. Wow. Where do we start here? Hang on. I'm going to catch my breath. I'll be right back. I think I want to start off with something really easy today and just get this out of the way. It's been bothering me. Is this brake cable here? Yeah, I won't have to get my hands dirty right away. This brake cable that's been kinked over because it wasn't supported properly, I am going to do a quick fix on that. I think I'm just going to put a piece of fuel line over, slide a piece of fuel line over it, and then put some zip ties around it. And then I have those 2 clamps to secure it up along the frame. That way when that handle, the handle gets here later. Oh yeah, did I mention that the new brake, the brake lever up there you squeeze to apply the brakes is going to be here today? Yeah, I think I already did say that, didn't I? So, and I already tried. It's the end on that, up at the very end of it is kind of, it's going to be impossible to get this to slide over the end of it. I think once it got started on, I could get it down, but I have to get it over the end. So what I might do is slit this and then put a couple of, I have some small, I have more if I need them. I have some very small zip ties that I'll secure that. I think it's going to work out all right. And hopefully this should cut pretty good. I think I have a pretty good blade in here. Put a nice new sharp blade in it recently. I'm just going to slit that down. Okay. We can open that up there. And I think I can just slide this around here. Like so. And push it down over that. Yeah, it's already holding it up straighter even without zip ties. But I think once I push the cable back a little bit too and clamp it, the outer casing of this cable will be much better, and that way the cable itself, the inside piece, will be safer, and it just won't be in a bind and dragging and hard on it. Little zip ties are, come on little guy. They're just tiny zip ties. Don't even know why, where I got them or what for, but I have them. Alright, alright, there's one. Get one up at the top. Come on, get in there, get in there. I was determined we're going to make better progress today, and it doesn't get much easier than this quick fix. And I think I put the one more right in the middle. If I can't fix this, we're in pretty bad shape today. Okay. And snip them ends off. One, a two, a three. That looks better already, doesn't it? Sorta. That's bulged there a little bit because that's the end of that one piece. I kind of like it. So I'll probably give this a little bit of slack and clamp it up on the frame. So it comes up under the seat here, and there was a zip tie on it. Somehow I don't think that was original equipment from the factory. Maybe the original clip fell off or popped off and somebody just threw a zip tie on it, which didn't last real long, obviously. So I'll push that back a little bit till that is pretty nice and straight back there. And these clips, let me see, I gotta get the cable in this one piece. Hopefully just force it over. And there it is. Oh, is that nice? It's pretty dang secure too. I like it. We might just use the one because this is going to need a little bit of slack to come up to the handlebars. Not that much. So here's what we're left with. It comes up here, and we don't want any sharp bends, just nice gentle. That might be good, and that just might be good the way it is. It has this other smaller kink right in this area. It's not real bad. We'll see how that works. It actually works pretty freely. I can pull it with my hand. So when that lever's on there, I think that's all it took. We just need the lever to show up. We'll put that on and see what we're left with. So the next thing I want to do is I want to put this back wheel back on. And what I'd like to do, you know, if this was part of the project where I was going to restore it and give it all new paint, you know, I'd be stripping it down and repainting it. I'd like to pull this hub out of here and put it in my blasting cabinet, get all this rust off of here, primer it and paint it, along with the sprocket, and this would all be all shiny and brand new looking. But that's not what we're doing today. This part of the project is simply getting it operational. It's a mechanical operation right now, or a mechanical restoration, not a cosmetic operation. So I think just to make that, just to ease that when I put it back in, give it a little drink of WD-40. And this should all, okay, I think that's going to go nice and freely. Get this little wheel back in here. Come on, come on. Oop, can't forget this spacer. We'll come in this side. Oop, I'm going to put that spacer in at the right time on this side. I don't need parts rolling away, disappearing on me. Let's get this tire back up in here. Oops. Come on. See if we can get the spacer in here. Come on. Come on. Okay. Well, it's in place. It has one of these adjusters on each side, so when the new chain's on, I'll have to adjust that. But I'll probably leave that loose for now until the new chain's in. I'll adjust the tension on the amount of play in the chain, and then tighten that up. It's back on for now. Now the big question is going to be whether this is all going to go together right. I don't know. I don't know. I might have to pop this one bearing back out of the far side. Like that. And I think I can just do this. Oh, I just have to pop this one out too. The reason I had to take that back wheel off was the old chain. It was a one-piece chain. There was no master link in it. You know, the master link is the one that has a little clip you can take off, and the front plate and the back, and pull and then you can stretch the chain out. And that's how you put a new one on. You get a length, you cut it the right size, and you put that master link in to hook it up, and then you adjust the play in it. Well, the original chains, they don't have a master link. It's just a circle of chain, and from the factory, that's just how they made them. So I couldn't get it off without unhooking it and unwrapping it around this stuff. Well, now that the new chain's coming, that will have the master link, I can put this stuff all back together and put the chain around it and put the master link in it, and then we'll be all right. Now, what's the matter here? We're gonna do there, and this is supposed to come out. Interesting. I think there's a collar that's supposed to go behind there, actually. I think this collar was in there. I'm gonna have to, I should have taken pictures. Actually, I did. I might have to review my pictures. There is that collar goes on there. And then that. I believe that's how we're supposed to be. Something's not right. Something's not right. Well, that goes the whole way. There's room for the snap ring on here. What is missing? We're going to leave that be for a minute, and it is somehow magically going to put itself together here in a minute. That will go together. It has one issue, but I can deal with that later. It's going to be all right. Some packages arrived. I got a little box here. I got a little box here from eBay. And what was in it is a new brake lever. So we'll see about getting that on. That might actually have to wait a little bit. I'm kind of anxious to get busy with this other thing. Okay, we got a Amazon Prime package. It's empty now. What was in it? Let me switch cameras. Okay, what came in the bag was this little white box. Has brand new chain in it. 10 feet of it. I only needed about 3.5 feet, so I have some left over. And somewhere I bought some extra master links, but so I already cut off the section that I needed. And all I do is I take it over to the bench grinder once I measure it, and I just grind off these the ends until it's down to the link itself, and then this top link comes off, and then the rest pushes out, and here it is. I know there's a tool for doing that, so you can see the shiny marks on it. I grind it down until till the heads are off. Then that piece comes off, and then you push the rest of it out, and that's it. That's how you get a section of that off, is grind 2 of those. Then you have a section. Top plate comes off, the rest pushes out, and you have your section. So I've already cut that. I know some of you said, "Oh, don't give up on that chain yet," but there's a the reason I did was yeah, it's too far gone. Sometimes when they're stiff, you can free them up, get them going again. But this is really, it's just the rust is too deep inside. And what happened was, instead of, how can I show this to you? What happened was, instead of that pin rotating inside that roller, what happened is that was so rusted and seized up that the pin actually, hang on, what happened is when I forced it, the link actually pivoted on the pin. The pin didn't break loose and rotate in the roller. That link actually pivoted on the pin, so it was moving out here instead of moving in there. And once you lose leverage, once that breaks loose like that and you lose leverage, there's really no way to force it to break loose anymore. So quite a few of them are like that. Some of them broke loose and freed up. There is a lot more movement in this chain, but there are some that are just they're too far gone. I know, I probably could have maybe soaked it for another week and soaked it in some miracle juice, some magic sauce, some kind of solvent or acid. You know what? For $16, I just put a new chain on it. It was here in a day from Amazon. I called Tractor Supply, Lowe's, the local hardware stores, True Value and Ace, and home improvement stores and auto parts stores. The best they could do. Well, Tractor Supply said if I ordered it online, I could probably maybe have it in 3 or 4 days. O'Reilly said it was 7 to 10 days out. That's ridiculous, and for $18. But these days, nothing is 7 to 10 days out. If it is, you need to shop somewhere else. So Amazon, it was $2 cheaper, $16, and it was here the next day. I love online shopping. Anyway, I've already cut that piece, and I have that other shaft all back in. Let's go check that out. And for those of you that are not familiar with what a master link is, this is one right here. Let me put it down on the table and show you. Okay, it's a link that once you have you have your length cut, you have 2 ends. You bring them together and you slide this piece in, these 2 pins in your 2 ends, and then then this piece here is the link you put over it, and this piece here is a clip that holds this plate on. So these 2 pins are fixed to this side. You slide them in, you put your chain back together, you put on the link on the other end, and then you put the little clip on it, and now you have a full circle of loop of chain. Okay, this probably looks a little bit different, and I've added this. I've temporarily put this kind of jack bolt in here. It's just barely in there. It's just snug. What happened is this here, I found out, is bent. This upright here is bent in almost 1/4 of an inch. So no matter how I put the spacing, how it used to be, this bearing was out too far because this was bent in. And when I pushed it in the whole way, then all of a sudden this sprocket didn't line up with the rear sprocket anymore. It was in too far, or out too far, whichever. And also the brake drum was out of alignment of this. Now this does move, kind of self-centers when it's applied. But the brake drum was also sticking way out or way in, I forget which way. So it threw everything off, this here being bent. So what I'm going to do is, and I mean, it's good enough for right now. I just kind of switched the spacers around to make it work out with it like that. I took that one collar out and I put it over on the other end. Right now it's spaced like it should be, but I will have to straighten this out and correct that at some point. Right now it turns like it's supposed to. Yeah, when I get that back out, I measured down here and I measured up here, and the spacing from this one to that one is almost a 1/4 inch tighter at the top. And you can also see it on this bearing where down here there's hardly barely a gap, and the further up you go, the bigger the gap gets. And the other bearing, it's, the gap is, actually there is no gap. The other bearing, it's just flush from top to bottom. So the other one is straight and this one's bent in. So back to this jack screw that I put in here. It's just kind of like a piece of all thread. It's actually a clamping set that I have, but it's kind of like it's threaded on both ends, and I have a coupling nut on each end. And at some point I'll take this whole thing back out of here and I'll move this up some, and I'll crank these and push this one out, and then I'm going to get a tab, a little sheet of a strip of metal, like maybe a 1/4 inch by 3/4 bar, and put across there, or maybe from the back side, because the chain's in a way, I might put it in an angle to act as a gusset to brace this in place. So I'll crank that out the right distance. I'll weld in a brace of some sort and then release the clamp, and that should be, then I'll reestablish all the collar in the right place and line everything up. There are some different shims to make the spacing all correct, and to eliminate or minimize any end play. So but right now actually it works pretty good the way I have it. Let's check this out. Okay, set that aside. So right now, if there was an engine on it, we put power to it. Okay, it's good to go. And I do want to move on from this here pretty quick here. I guess lastly, let's do it. Let's go one more view this way. Brand new chain, just rolls so nice. So I have it adjusted, pretty nice, not too tight, a little bit of play. That's good. And everything's kind of snug down where it's at. I'm really liking it. So that tells me this whole back, I've kind of worked through the process. I see what needs to be done to make this, to correct this little issue, but we're good for now. And that master link is in here somewhere. There's that master link right there, and I did not push the clip on the whole way. I was thinking about maybe I might be taking it back off, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave this whole assembly together for now, because this project's going to get kind of wrapped up. Its full evaluation is going to be complete here pretty soon, and I'll know what I'm up against. And we'll visit this side for just a minute. Another big thing, I wanted to get this thing together, get the back wheel back on, because I want it to be able to sit on its own. I need to weld. I'm going to repair the kickstand for it. That way if I need to move it around the garage or whatever, it can sit on its own 2 feet and on its kickstand. I don't have to lean it up against anything or have it sitting on a box. It'll be a free rolling chassis. It can stand up on its own. That's just hanging by its spring. So I want to get that welded and get this thing just down on its own. Well, here it is. It's on the bench in pieces, from the cover up here, the muffler to the coil and spark plugs and old head gasket and pulley and gas tank and carburetor and engine and flywheel. I have it all in pieces, but it's not as bad as it looks. Okay, this was kind of similar to. I should back up a second. I've already done some things to this that it's probably closer to running than you might think. At least I hope so. This engine, let me see, where should I start? I've already had the head off of it, and I've bead blasted it in my blast cabinet, and then I lapped it and to see where the high spots are on it. They're kind of, the head is warped a little bit, but we might get to that in the next video. I think I'm just going to show you real quick here where we're at with this, and then we might actually do a couple things and get it bolted together, a couple things bolted together, and see if we can get it to fire in the next video. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Let me see here. Let me get this engine out here. Now, somebody had worked on this before, and because this points cover on this side was completely missing, and this was full of more garbage, more debris that I've ever seen, and the points in it are really bad. That end is so pitted. I've just never seen them that bad before. So I do have, and where's the condenser? The condenser's on the end of the coil. It goes up in here. Anyway, and I have brand new. We got brand new points and condenser here for in it. So hopefully, if this coil's any good, which I have my doubts because it's been silicone, and that wire seems pretty weak. Yeah, I don't think that's any good. So I'm probably going to have to round up a coil for it. And of course the connection in the boot is missing on the end for the spark plug. So this is one item here. I might have a donor engine here not far away. I might go to just get this coil off of, if it'll work. But so I get the coil lined up, points and condenser in it. We're going to see if we can get any spark out of it. And of course the flywheel. You know, when I took that flywheel off, I was surprised. We had it all cleaned up. I was surprised to pull that off and find out the points cover was missing. So I don't know. The little bolts are there to mount it. I just need the cover. Now let's flip this thing around. And I do have the new head gasket up here sitting. So I'll get that head finished up and get the new head gasket on there and get the head retorqued on here. But an interesting thing here is the exhaust valve was stuck open. And so when you rotated it around, it just stayed up. It just never closed. So there was no compression whatsoever with the valve completely stuck open all the time. But I got the valves working. I took them out and lapped them, and took the little valve cover off down here, took the valve springs off, and gently kind of tapped that down. I put the penetrating oil in it, kind of tapped it down, and then turned it over to get the cam and lifter to push it back up, and then rotated it some more and tapped it back down. So I kind of did that until it freed up pretty quickly actually, and then they both lapped in pretty nice. This is really similar situation to what went on. I put together that little ending of the last video. I could probably insert that here, but I had that old Kohler engine on a 1961 Cub Cadet that the motor was just corroded and rusty. Both valves were stuck open on that, and the cylinder was all pretty nasty looking. But I got them valves out and cleaned everything up. I lapped those valves in. I wiped the cylinder out real good and oiled it. Got everything back together. Put the head on it. I even painted some of the tins, and then tried to start it. Of course, I had to clean the fuel system too, the carburetor and the gas tank and all that. But and away she went. The other thing about this engine is after I took the tins off of it and the covers, all these these are air-cooled engines, and air needs to flow through these. You can look in one side and not the other. Well, a lot of these were all clogged up with dead grass and those mud wasps or whatever they're called. A lot of these were plugged up, so this wouldn't have cooled properly. It wouldn't have got proper airflow through here. And of course, you know, that's part of the purpose of the flywheel too. It's just like these fins are all a big fan. When the cover's on it, you know, that just spins and circulates air through those fins, and it cools it, and it just exhausts the hot air out the other side. So yeah, that was all clogged up. I've cleaned this up pretty good, blew it all out. I actually run some scrub brush, little scrub brush things through there, and got that really cleaned out. Anything else? It had about 2 tablespoons of really dirty oil in it. But I think this was out laying on its side or upside down for a while. This engine was actually, somebody gave up on this engine and it sat out, was sitting out in the scrap pile. So that may be where a lot of the oil went. Yeah, hopefully it wasn't run that low. The other thing is I do still have to clean this carburetor up. This will give you an idea of some of the you know, junk and grass and stuff that was in the rest of it. So I got to clean this up yet. It's just a tiny little carburetor. There's not much to these. I'll take the jets and stuff out of it and spray it all out with carburetor cleaner and put it back together. Actually, the inside of the gas tank didn't seem too bad. I'll put some fresh gas in there, slush it around, and rinse that out. Probably blow it out with the air compressor. And I think I can get this revived here pretty quickly. Other than that, you know, there it is. There's the pulley for the, you know, to run that other pulley on the other side of the mini bike. I might replace that. They have these down at the hardware store. This one's a little banged up and bent, and the pulley's just going to run weird in it. So I might take this down and find an exact replacement. So that's really kind of where we're at with the engine. I can probably sit here and spend an hour or so on it and have the points and condenser in it and head back on it. I gotta get around that coil up though, and spend a half an hour or so on that carburetor, and we might be ready to give her a try. I'll have to put the it will run without that points cover, but long term it just allows, you know, dust and dirt and moisture in there. So just for the purposes of seeing this thing, if this thing will come back to life, I can run it start it up without that cover on it. But if I put it back into service on the mini bike, I'm going to want to get that. That should also be on the donor motor for that coil. It will probably also have that cover. I'll just get it off of that. So we'll get to that here soon, very soon. Well, we didn't get the brake lever on today because there's a little trick I have to do with that. I'm just going to kind of cheat. This hole that the brake cable goes in is kind of bigger than the thing on the end of that cable. So I might make up just a tiny little bushing or sleeve on my little lathe for that, or I just might rig it up some other way. I don't know, but I got to do something about that. We're close on that, and that'll be working. That's it. This video is probably long enough by now. That's it. Anything else here? No, we made some progress today. We're going to see if we can get some life out of this engine soon. If it doesn't cooperate, I have 2 other engines available. Another one's almost identical. I think they're both 3. The other one's also 3 horsepower. And there's also a 5 horsepower that I slid it in the frame. It will fit. That's probably a lot of power for that little bike. It would go pretty good. So, I don't know. I'd like to keep the original engine on it. If 3 horsepower gets it around okay, I think I'd probably rather go that way. If we got to go with the more power, we'll go. So be it. We'll go with the more power. Anyway, all right. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you soon.